Okay. Uh, Students, I hope the screen is visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In previous class, we were discussing a few demonstration. One we have already covered, that is size of function, right? Then we were also looking into a address of operator, a demonstration, right? The ampersand symbol is used to retrieve the address of a particular variable. Suppose if there is an variable by the name a which has been declared, okay, then if we want to know the address of this particular variable a, then we can use and symbol, that is ampersand symbol, just before the a to retrieve the address of that particular variable. And the format specifier for the address, we can use it to be a percentage p, right? So here percentage p here it stands for a pointer. Okay, now as we know that the address of a particular memory location is an hexadecimal number. So the result, or the once we execute this particular program, we are going to get an output which consists of a hexadecimal numbers. How can we identify this as an hexadecimal number? All the hexadecimal numbers will begin with 0x, okay, 0x, followed by 8 digits or 8 characters consisting of alphabets as well as the numbers. So this identifies that this particular number is an hexadecimal number, which is in turn the address of a particular variable a. Okay, now yesterday we were just looking into one simple concept, like if we have a numbers, hexadecimal numbers written in the proper order starting from 0 up to the last number, that is after 9 we get a, right? Then we get b, then C, D, E, and F. Now, after F, what do we get? Can anyone tell me? I thought you
Sir,
guys have
10.
studied. Yes, we get
10.
10. How it is 10? Sir, we just looked into a Google and we got this answer. We don't know how it is, isn't it? Can anyone try to explain how it is 10? Now, suppose if you are writing an decimal numbers, suppose if you are writing a decimal numbers, assume that 0 to 9 you are written. After 9, we write again 10 here, isn't it? Now, if the concepts which you have studied in computer fundamentals, if you have applied little logic here, you can understand why this convention is there. Right? Now, what are the supported digits? The unique digits in a decimal number are 0 to 9. 0 to 9 are the unique digits we can use to represent a decimal number, right? So you start from 0, the next highest value is 1, the next value is 2, and it continues up to 9, right? Now, these decimal number, we call them to be a positional number system. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Positional number system. So positional number system means what? What is the meaning of that?
Arithmetic operations can easily be performed.
Arithmetic operation can easily be performed. Okay, that will not give a meaning or a definition of what positional uh, number system. Positional number system means the digits of that particular number, at what particular place it is written, it determines the value of that number, right? Now here, the first one which I have highlighted here, this is, there are only one digit, there is exactly one digit, right? So it is at the position digit, so the value will be 0 here. Next, well, number written is a 1 and its position is a digit place, so its number value is going to be 1. So from 0 to the last value 9 we can write. Now here from 0 to 9 we have written all those 9 numbers. After 9, if I want to write, then I have to make use of a combination of these digits only. next number if I want to write, then I have to make use of a combination of these two numbers only. Now if you just apply simple logic here, now I'm just making small change here. Now if I add 0 here, does it change the value of any number? When I added
No,
a 0
sir.
here, no, right?
No, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
now think here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 9 we have written. Now we have exhausted writing all the numbers, right? Now here there are 2 digits in each of these numbers. There are 2 digits. This is what position it is? What is the weight of this number? You all have studied weights, no, in number system? Can anyone respond? What is the weight of this 0? Suppose if I write a 10 here, what is the weight of this 1? Don't know. Interesting. Have you studied something called as units, tens, hundreds?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now what is the weight of this number 1, which I have highlighted here?
Sir, 10.
10, right? Now you are thinking, sir, what sir is talking about, what he is teaching now? He is teaching subject DS, and in that he's talking about all the numbers which we have studied in our first standard, second standard. Right now I will come back to that, why we are studying or why I'm just focusing upon this. Right now there is always logic behind this, why we write 1 0. If you think at a person like me who is keen on the who has interest on the logics and all, now if you look at here, the value is 0, value is 1, value is 2, and the last number here value is 9. Now I have made use of all these numbers, that is 0 to 9. Next I want to write the next number here. So as per logic, what I do here, how I can think, since I started from 0, I ended with the 9, and before all these numbers I have just written the first digit, that is 0 here. This 0 I have placed it over here. Now I want to write the next number. Since I exhausted with all the numbers, what I will do, this 0 is already taken care. Next number is what? 1. So here I will write 1. Okay. Now what I will start writing, then I will start writing a combinations of 1 0, 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, 1 4, 1 5, 1 6, 1 7, 1 8, 1 9. Okay. Now look into this particular pattern here. Now we have 2 digits. First digit is left side is having a higher weight than the right side. On the right side, if you look, I have taken care of all 0s to 9, all unique numbers, but on the left side all are 1. Now here also I have just exhausted with all the combinations which I can make from 1 with the 1. Now what I can think, now I know that the number system starts from 0, ends with 9 for the decimal number. So first initially I taken care of 0, next I have taken care of 1. Next number is what? 2. So after this 1 9 I will write 2 and start with 0. 2 1 2 2, right? In this way I will continue writing up to 2 9. After 2 9, okay, again I will conclude that okay, I have taken care of all 1 to 9. Then I'm going to write 3 0. The same steps, same logic. Okay, this is type of a logic which is applied or applied in generating the numbers basically. Okay, this is type of a logic which is applied in generating the natural numbers. Okay, now if you try to think the same thing with respect to the hexadecimal numbers, okay, you get after writing the f. Now look into here, I have taken care of all the different digits or the alphabets which are there in the hexadecimal number, that is 0 to f. So all are over. The next number what I can make a pair of 2 digits, wherein the first number will be after 0, so that is 1. So 1 I have taken, and then followed by 0. So next number going to be 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, right? Up to it will proceed further till where? 1 f. After 1F, what will come?
20.
20. Then 21, 22. Then proceeds further, and we get after 2F, we get 30. So this way the numbers in a hexadecimal numbers are written. Now, the point of discussion, why I'm explaining all these things, is because if you want to understand the memory address and the layout of that one, and at the time of tracing, if you know this concept, then it will help you to understand the tracing of the memory layout. Okay, that's why I'm explaining these things. Now, suppose if all of a sudden, if I tell you, for example, the output of this program was, see here, the output of this program was something like this, right? Now, let me consider only the last two digits here. FC I will consider, for instance. Okay. Now, suppose if there is a number by the name FC, now what is the next number in hexadecimal? After FC, what is the next number?
FD.
FD.
FD, very good. Next,
FE.
FE,
FE.
and then FF.
FS.
FF, right? Now, previous number before FC, what will come?
FD.
FB will come. Before that, FA will come.
FA.
Now, before FA, now it is interesting, right? Now, before FA, what will come?
F9.
Very good. Before FA, we get F9. So before F9, F8. Then
EF.
F7, F6, F5, F4,
5.
then sorry, F4. Before F4, F3,
F3.
then F2, F1. Okay, now what will come before F1?
0.
F0. Now the interesting point now. Before F0,
EF.
EF.
F, E, F. We get EF. Did you follow this number convention? The sequencing numbers?
So.
Yes, right? Okay. Now, if this is understood, then it will be easy for me to trace the program. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here is that I will just take out all this. I will include few more variables here. Let me write, say, int b. Okay. Then after that, let me write a character variable, say char c, and let's have a float f. Okay. Let it be only these many 4 variables as of now. So what I will do in the printf statements is that I will just rewrite the few more printf statements to include the address of the different variables. First one A we have taken care, next is a B, and then next will be C, and then next is F. So in the same way, I will represent the addresses. So address of B, address of C, and address of F. Okay, A, B both are integer, C is character, F is float. Now here, tell me how much of memory is required to store this A. I'm asking not theoretical, the practical. On my particular system, how many bytes are required for A?
4 bytes.
4 bytes. What about B?
4 bytes.
4 bytes. What about C?
1 byte.
1 byte.
Float, that is F?
4 bytes.
4 bytes, right? Okay. Now let us compile the program and execute. Okay. Now we got this answer. Address of A is FC, address of B is F8, address of C is F7, and address of F is F0. Now, can anyone make out here? If you try to visualize now you need to visualize here. I will trace and show you. Before that, you have to visualize so that you can build your logic. Now, try to visualize how these are arranged. how these particular memory locations could be arranged here. You can just focus upon the last 2 digits or last 2 digits. That is enough. You can just ignore the previous one. This is address of A. This is address of B. This is address of C. This is address of F. Okay, shall I show you how it is arranged? Let's look into an Excel sheet here. Now, assume that this is the memory blocks. Let me have some memory blocks here. Okay, fine. Now this is FC, F8, F7, F0. Which is smallest number here?
F0.
F0 is the smallest number. Agree, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now,
Yes,
let
sir.
me take that. Okay, this is FC. This is FC. Address FC. Right? Now, what type of data it is? F is what type of data type?
Integer.
F, ma, look into
Float.
the program. It is
Float.
float. Requires how many size? How many bytes? 4 bytes.
4.
4
4
bytes.
bytes.
So it is telling that address of F is F0. The meaning of this is that, so from this particular F0 address, there are 4 consecutive memory blocks that is allocated for F. So the variable F is now assigned over here, and whose address is FC, starts with FC. The next consequent 4 blocks, that is FC, then after FC, FD, sorry, that was F0, right? F0, F0, F1, F2, and F3. These 4 blocks are for variable F, whose first address is F0. Okay, the next address C, for the variable C, which is a character and whose address is F7. Now tell me, how many bytes of memory required to store the variable C?
1
One
byte.
byte.
1 byte.
One byte.
1.
Only 1 byte, right? So whose address is what? F7. Now here, suppose it is F3, next will be F4, F5, F6, and then F7. Now this F7 is for what? This is for the variable C. This is for the variable C. Let me write it F here. Okay, now only this particular block is allocated. Let me highlight it for you for better understanding. Okay, now this is for float, and this is for what? This is for the character. Okay, then next, after that, what we have? F8. Now this is the F8 is the starting memory address for the variable B. Now, how many bytes of memory required for variable B?
4 bytes.
4 bytes. So starting from F8, right? F9, FA, FB. Are they 4?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this is for the variable B. So these 4 bytes are now allocated for variable B. Right? Next. Then we have a variable A. For variable A, what is the starting address? FC. So again, A is also an integer. Again, it requires 4 memory blocks. Starting from what? FC. That is FC. After FC, FD, FE, and FF. These 4 blocks are allocated for the variable A. Now, this is pictorially, I can demonstrate you, or I can make you understand that in the computer memory. Okay, whenever I declare the variables, this A, B, C, F in this particular program, the computer is allocating the memory in this fashion. In this fashion. Is it something, are you following this one? Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Whenever you write a program where you want to, where you are looking for an address of a variable, okay, so you need to think that, okay, something like this architecture is there of a memory, and the addresses will be allocated for the variables, and number of bytes will depend upon the data type of the variable. And whenever I say A, the variable A whose address is FC, that means it is not only one byte or only one memory location. Starting from this particular address, the next 4 bytes will be occupied by the A variable. Okay, for example, for C here, C is a character which requires only 1 byte of memory. So the address here F7 means, okay, it is only 1 byte or only 1 block of a memory. And for a float F, it is going to take 4 bytes again. So F0. F0 means from F0 to the next 4. F0, F1, F2, and F3. Suppose if I include another variable here, for instance, let's say if I include a variable double D. Now, for double D, how many bytes of memory required?
8 bytes.
8 bytes. Now, suppose if we write a statement here to print the size of or the address of this particular double variable D, okay, then let me replace this also with D. Now, compile the program, execute. This time we may get the same address or we may get a different address. Okay, this time I'm getting a same address only. Now, this is F0. The variable F was having F0. Here F0. Now look at here, E8. Now what do you think here E8 is? E8 is the first address of D. And from E8, how many bytes will be there for this particular variable D?
8 bytes.
8 bytes will be there. There will be 8 bytes. So if you just try to write the numbers, I think I cannot write here. Let me write it on this other side here. E8. After E8,
E9.
E9, then EA,
EB.
EB, EC, ED, EE, EF.
E.
Are they 8?
Yes, sir.
Now, see, after this 8 consecutive memory block, EF, we have F0. So what it has done, computer has done, previous, that is before to this F0, it has found 8 free consecutive memory blocks and it has assigned it for the variable D. Okay, I hope you are able to make out the concept of addresses here and how the memory will be allocated for variables. Any doubts, students, here? Any confusions?
No, sir.
Sir, I
No,
have a
sir.
doubt, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, for the C variable, instead of storing it in F7, can it be stored in F4 by the computer system?
It depends upon the, it is depending on the computer system. It can allocate F4 here itself, it can allocate here, or it can allocate F5, it can allocate F6 or F7. It completely depends upon the computer. Wherever it finds those many blocks, it will just assign. Now, the probably your question is something like, why these 4 bytes are left out here? Right? Why did not computer allocate the F variable starting from F3 to F6? Is that your question? Is that your doubt?
Sir, means it can the C can also be stored in F4, sir, continuously instead of leaving the gap 3.
Now, if you think here, if you just think here, let me show you once again. Now, which is the first variable declared?
Sir, A.
A. So when we know that the approach is what? Execution approach or the compilation approach is what? From first statement to the next statement, right? The first declaration is what? A. So first declaration, when A was done, it has allocated this memory block. First, it has allocated from FC to FF, it has allocated. After that, we have B here. Once B was done, what it has done? Okay. Before these memory blocks, it has found that there are some memory locations which are free. So it has allocated all these those 4 memory blocks. Okay, then we have something called as a C declaration. It says that, okay, for C, I just require 1 byte. So it has allocated this particular F7. That is also just before address of the F8. Then next we have declared F. F requires 4, right? Now, surprisingly, computer did not allocate F6, that is F6, F5, F4, F3. It did not allocate from F3 to F6. Rather, it has started from F0 to F3. it has left these 3 particular bytes empty. The reason being is that there are some other concepts of architecture or the computer architecture, wherein the overall computer architecture, if you look at here, the integer requires 4 bytes, then float requires 4 bytes. The majority, if something, suppose in later cases, if we want to modify the variable of this one, of data type of this particular variable to something else, and most commonly it will try to think that, okay, I may require some more additional bytes. In such cases, I need to make use of those things. So it just leaves some 3 bytes over here. Why 3 bytes? Because one is this and this is 4. So 4 bytes. It depends upon the computer architecture to leave out certain parity bits. We usually call them to be a parity bytes or a parity bits. I think you have come across with the parity bits in computer fundamentals.
Yes, sir.
Right? So similar to that concept, what computer will do is that when it requires only 1 byte for C, it allows that particular 3 bytes. And next variable, if I declare here after C, I'm declaring a F variable. But what it will do is that it will not take the previous 4 bytes. Instead of that, it will do is that as per my architecture, I will try to keep a word length of a 4. So basically, this is a word length of a 4 here. So word length of a 4 means what it will do, 4 bytes will be reserved. In that, 1 byte is already occupied, 3 more bytes it will leave it empty, and then it will allocate the remaining 4 bytes for the next variable. It did not happen for D here. If you look at the D declaration, before this F0, all consecutive 8 memory blocks are declared here. It did not leave any of the blocks empty there. Continuously it got allocated. Because 8 means what? Again, you can say it is a word length of a 2. So word length of a 1 here in this architecture means it is 4 bytes. 4 byte is a word length. So 8 bytes are already allocated. There is no fractional part in that one. But in case of here, since the word length was a 4 and it requires only 1 byte there, so remaining 3 bytes were left empty. That is the explanation for why it is leaving these 3 blocks empty here. Does that solve your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions, students? Okay, there is one question. Why it is going back the location? Means why it is going in the backward direction. Okay, there are 2 types of memory. Have you studied in CF? I'm not sure. Something called as a stack memory and a heap memory. I don't think so. In the overall computer memory architecture, there are different segments of the memory. Basically, there are different segments of the memories. In that, there are 2 important things. One is called as a stack. This stack is not a data structure. This is a stack of a memory segment. Other is a heap memory segment. In the stack memory segment, the memory allocation happens in a reverse direction, like how it is happening here, right? It is not going in the forward direction. It is going in a backward direction because of the memory layout architecture and its functionality. In the stack, it goes into an reverse direction. Okay. Understood, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let me try to quickly give you a demo of the other one that is called as indirection operator. We have studied the indirection operator, right? Theoretically, indirection operator, that is a star. What the star will do? Star will give us the value located at a particular memory address. Means now this is what? A memory address. This is what? A memory address, right? And A represents what? A memory address. Now, if I want to know the value of that, okay, let me rewrite a statement here. This is the address. Okay, let me write another statement here. Value stored at address of A. Value stored at address of A. How I can retrieve? I can retrieve using the star operator or a asterisk operator. The convention is that it requires a memory location or a memory address. Now, for me, this is giving the memory address, isn't it? When I write ampersand A, it gives me a memory address. Now, at that particular memory address, I want to know the value. Then I can write a star here. I can write a star and I can place them into a brackets. Since, understand this one, star means value located where this particular address is pointing. Now, value located at the address of A. Now, address of A means what here? What is the address of A? When we had executed the program, we got the address of A as FC, right? Suppose if I have initialized here, suppose if I have initialized with 10, what will happen in this particular blocks? 10 will be updated. Okay, 10 will be updated. Now, value at this particular address FC means what? Can anyone try to answer? Value at this particular address FC means what? What we will get?
So 10.
10. Very good. I will repeat once again, right? Star means here it is an indirection operation. What this indirection operation provides? It provides the value stored at a particular address, right? So now here, value stored at a particular address. What is that address? Address of A. So at the address of A, what value is there? That is 10. Since the value here is an integer number, 10 is an integer number, yes or no? So the format specifier now will change to %d. And if I run the program and execute here, now you can see here the output. This is the first printf statement, that is address of A. And then you can see here value of, that is value stored at address of A is 10. How this 10 got retrieved? It got retrieved by looking into this particular address, and at this address there is a 10, so it retrieved it. Okay, no worries, I will explain these things again and again because we are going to learn the same concept, okay, in this particular unit. Okay, more frequently we will get into this type of notations, so you need to remember the conventions here. Okay, don't worry if you didn't understand at this time, absolutely not a problem, because again we are going to learn the same thing in another sections, another concepts. Okay, just remember that whenever we use the star here in while fetching the data, right, that means it gives us a value located at particular address. Now two more things let me clear here. This and this star, that is address of as well as the indirection, are the unary operators. Unary operators. Unary operators means what? What we mean by unary operators?
Two operand.
They operate on single operand. They operate upon single operand, right? Like, and there will be a one particular operand. Let me call it to be operand 1, then operand 1. Okay, now here, for example, what? And A, right? Now, how many operands are here? There is only one operand, that is A here. Now, that is the unary operation or unary operator. The operand for this AND operation is a variable. The operand for this particular operation is a variable. And for the indirection operation, example is what? Star. The operand is an address of a particular variable. Address of a particular variable. Operand is address, is a memory address or a memory location. For AND it is variable, and for star it is address. If you know this one, then learning pointers will be very easy. And operand is variable, star operand is address. Remember these things.